Life makes no sense. You're on a planet right now. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness, and the infinite nothingness is expanding. That means endlessness is getting bigger. That makes no sense.
Come on. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Consistently Inconsistent. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. You know what? We're good. We're good.
There it is.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness for the mute on my mic. Whew, we're good. We're good. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Consistently Inconsistent. The show where nothing's consistent. It's great. It actually works out so well for us because we just say, hey, we're going to do it. And we come up with a couple topics and it doesn't take long. But the one thing about our show that I think I love so much is how it all ends up tying together. No matter what, it all ends up tying together. I do want to give a big shout out to what just made me go berserk, Vive. Vive smelling salts. You can go to myvive.com and get one of these tubes. It lasts you about a month. It replaces an energy drink and it costs a fraction of the cost and it's better for you. So there's that. But yeah, dude, Consistently Inconsistent has been going strong. And we're just gonna keep growing, man. I mean, it feels good. We're doing things right, and things just get smoother and smoother as we go. Ev.O.Lution, man, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. It's been an interesting couple of days, but I'm really looking forward to not only this episode, but all the episodes that will soon follow. We got so much that we plan on doing. Our plans and creativity just keeps stacking up, man. We just keep coming with all this new stuff, and we just don't have enough time to release it, I guess.
The biggest thing about what we do is that people see how different it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, unique.
Go ahead.
I said yes, unique.
It is. It's unique. A lot of these channels have, like, the people that have tons of views, they have a niche and they stick with that niche. We don't have a niche other than the fact that we like to talk to people. But all of our shows have different kind of concepts. We have different kind of like themes to what our shows are.
Mm-hmm.
People are resonating with it. People are like, hey, I love the diversity in your content. And it's like, it feels good. It feels right.
Mm-hmm.
I see these other shows. They'll go live for 4 or 5 hours. We'll go live for 1 hour and get the same number of views that those shows get. And it makes me feel like, okay, clearly we're doing it right. You know?
Heck yeah.
We've got somebody that I met. His name is Jobless on TikTok. He does live shows about 4 or 5 nights a week. I jumped on his show, and he immediately was hooked to my concepts and kind of my beliefs. And now we're collaborating with him, and he's climbing on TikTok quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just even though we're not where my mind already is, I know it's coming.
Heck
We are a streaming network of content, and that's what no matter what, that's always what we're going to be. And it will just be a more expanded version of it until we hit the big leagues. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen soon. I see it. I see it. Especially with all the people that give us the compliments that we do.
For sure. You okay with everybody?
I think I'm fine. I'm okay. I was dying for about 5 seconds, but I'm fine.
All right. Okay.
So for tonight, we got another episode of Consistently Inconsistent, the show where nothing's consistent
Mm-hmm.
other than that everything ties together.
Right.
And that wasn't even intentional. It just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where we're at tonight. Me and Evolution both have a few topics that we're going to share. Usually what we do is 3 and 3. And I'm not even sure who started the last one. So if you would like, I can start this
Sure. Go for it.
one. All right. My first one for the night is going to be Bull in a China Shop. Recently, Disney released a movie called Ferdinand, where he was in a China shop and he was attempting to kind of tiptoe his way through it, but he literally broke half the China. He's a big ass bull, of course. He can't tiptoe through a China shop. So I think the biggest thing for me is putting someone in a position knowing that they're going to fail.
Mm.
Is where this concept comes into play. It's like I could see it being beneficial if it's to prove to the person that they can't do it. You know, as far as the origin goes, I don't think it's as important because the meaning speaks for itself. Um, I'm not sure how many of you have been in antique shops or anything like that, where like if you touch something, you're worried it's going to fall off a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I know too many people who don't care about that. They'll go in the store. What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? They touch it and without a care in the world. I think that people need to have the mindset of being a bull in a china shop, especially not even to do with the delicacy of what you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
but like mentally and physically, like with the sicknesses that are going around and everything like that, you don't need to be touching all the product. You don't need to be sneezing on everything. Like this isn't a world where you can get away with being like that anymore without repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Well, always take a different angle.
Of course.
I got a couple things here that I kind of jotted down as you were talking. The first thing is that comes to mind when I think about a bull in a china shop is a huge mess is about to take place. you know,
Fair.
uh,
Yeah.
you have to be very, very careful and delicate in a situation like that. And a bull in a china cabinet is quite the opposite. No matter which way or direction a bull is going to move in a china shop, something's going to break, something's going to get destroyed or trampled through or over. It's just going to create a huge mess. And the second thing I got here is in that type of scenario, uh, I guess some of us should be very, very scared to break something or make
Right.
a mistake. So in most cases, they probably just won't move at all. They'll just sit still. And I guess from your example, they'll be they're put in a situation where they're more likely to fail than to succeed, um, which is kind of messed up.
It really is. I mean, putting somebody in that position in itself is tough enough, you know. But I, I don't think that being a bull is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's acknowledging that you're the bull. I think acknowledging the fact that you're the bull and knowing what situations you cannot put yourself in
Mm-hmm.
plays a big role in this because there's a lot of people that are cocky enough to think that they can do something that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
I think knowing your boundaries makes a big difference in this concept of this being a bull in a china shop. If
Mm-hmm.
I walk to an elevator and I hit a button and the door opens and there's 4 or 5 people in there and I weigh 350 pounds, chances are I'm probably going to wait for the next elevator.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging your weight. And I'm not talking about physical weight. acknowledge what your weight is on no matter what the subject is,
Mm-hmm.
and that there is going to be kickback. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be repercussions of the fact that you are like, I don't, if you're 7 foot and you approach me and you're like, no, I believe this, and you committed to, I believe this, good for you. But
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge the fact that people are not going to agree with you
Mm-hmm.
and be prepared for what the outcome's going to be. That's
Oh
like
yeah.
a bull walking into a china shop and
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging the fact that most likely these plates are going to break as I walk through it. You're going to have that. You're going to have that kickback. And that's even with people who are in a situation where they are very mindset on their beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and they go into a situation where they're like, I get it. I know that you're not going to believe me, but here's what I have to say, and you're going to listen. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
agree with me, but I'm going to make sure that you listen to what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be that bull in the china shop if you understand what situation you're walking into and you know how to play it.
Nice. I agree.
Good. You got anything else on that?
Uh, it also can be looked at as when it comes to size or aggressiveness in a situation. You know, sometimes you can be over aggressive when it comes to dealing with things or being in certain situations. We don't really need to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just knowing what you have to work with, and more importantly, know who you're dealing with is enough. You know, a lot of times people are put in positions and they're respected immediately just because they have that title. Uh, you don't have to really throw your weight around or just force your authority on everybody because it's already a given. You know,
Right.
and if you do want to throw your weight around in those scenarios, more than likely you will put yourself in a situation to where you'll lose the respect of the people, and you'll become that bull on the china cabinet, just tearing things up and breaking things before you even get a chance to have some type of success.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, man. What you got?
I got read between the lines. Uh,
You talking about these lines?
reading between the lines.
I can do something with my fingers to make it more accurate.
What are your thoughts on that, man?
You hear the phrase of things going over someone's head.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same as reading between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I personally know from situations recently that I'm not going to get too in depth with, especially because of people I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, reading this and watching the show, um, I think there's too many people who complain to complain, thinking that there's going to be a result,
Mm.
and are obviously being shut down. Like obviously, like there's so many times where no matter where I've worked,
Mm-hmm.
where I have had to pull an employee aside and I'm like, hey, here's what's up, and they are oblivious.
Mm.
It's being able to read between the lines. I think is actually beneficial for the person who it's affecting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're not, it makes them look worse. Like I
Mm.
don't. It's a strong term, and I don't even think that it's a negative term, even though it means something negative.
Yeah.
I think it's the power and the weight behind it is that um it's happens every day. It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so many people that are oblivious to their weaknesses that when
Mm-hmm.
they're called out on them, they just go, "Oh, it's just I had I stubbed my toe earlier today, so I that's why I wasn't on top of my game. Or
Mhm.
you know, it was girls' night out last night. I ate 30 pounds of more food than I should have. You know,
35.
these are things that people don't acknowledge, and then they
Mhm.
blame on everything else but themselves.
Mm.
And I think it makes a big play into what you said. And even today, it's the same way, man. You can be on a keto diet, you can be on whatever freaking diet you want to be on, but if you can't acknowledge that you have your own flaws,
Mhm.
you can't get the support that you need to improve it.
Mm. Point. So I guess to me, with the angle I'm gonna take is read between the lines. I'm just gonna create an atmosphere of a group of people, and I'm gonna go this route. So you got, let's say you got four sets. Are you doing that again?
Go
What is
Vive!
wrong? What is wrong with you?
Go Vive! Uh,
Oh man,
promotion!
I really am scared to see where this is about to go.
Well, you're about to have a bottle for yourself, so
All right, so the direction I'm going is like let's just say you have four different couples in a room. They're gathering together for whatever event that's going on, and of course each couple has a different relationship individually,
yeah,
but until they start talking and communicating about whatever subject that they got going on, that whoever is talking, they need to read between the lines and kind of notice the other people's facial expression as they talk, because let's just say one couple is a power couple, you know what I mean, they're doing well, they're making good money, they're successful, and uh, the power couple doesn't have children, another couple has children, so their financial status is a little bit different. They're doing okay, but not like the power couple, right?
right,
And then you have another couple who's like newly together, and so everything is fresh, and they're like lovey-dovey and all this, can't keep their hands off each other. And then you have the fourth couple who is, I don't know, maybe been together for a long time, don't really care much about what's going on and the end thing. They're just kind of relaxed and comfortable with each other, and they're done what they done. They did what they did, and they're gonna do what they do, right?
right,
So each conversation is gonna be different. So I would say reading between the lines. Let's just say the power couple is talking about all this financial stuff and all these, what do you call it, prestigious things in their life, right?
right, right.
And everybody else is looking at them like, shut up. You know what I mean? I don't really care about that stuff. It means nothing to me, and I don't even know what you're talking about because, I'm not even on that level. Nobody's gonna say that, but if you see the facial expressions on their face, right, you're gonna notice these things. So that's kind of what I'm going with, the read between the lines. Pay attention to what's going on, even though things are being said and people are acknowledging what you're saying or responding to it, but their emotions and their expressions are saying something different.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, the reading between the lines is a big deal, especially with people. And just like I said, it's more of an emphasis on the going over your head. Like when you're being called out on something and you just
Hmm.
don't even acknowledge that you're being called out on it. It's
Hmm.
that reading between the lines, it still happens today. I still know people that do it.
Hmm.
Um, and it sucks, but it's not the worst of all of the things that we've talked about. It's just a matter of acknowledging that these people need that kind of reflection.
Hmm.
All right,
And
man.
it actually kind of ties into the bull in the china shop as well, because again, you can probably be in a situation to where you have to be careful on how you say what you say. That way, you don't offend somebody else, uh, whether it's purpose or accidental. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think the purpose and accidental part plays a big role too, because people do things all the time, not realizing that they're screwing somebody over or whatever,
Hmm.
or hurting their feelings.
Hmm.
All right, that was it you or me?
That was me. Read between the lines.
All right, all right, all right. So we've done bull in the china shop. Okay, next up, we are on to give the cold shoulder.
Hmm.
Meaning to ignore someone intentionally. This kind of comes with the whole forgive and forget thing. I think giving somebody a cold shoulder, depending on the situation, might make sense, but it doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't. If anything, it just confirms that you guys just don't have any intention of fixing the problem.
Hmm.
You know, the only cold shoulders that I give are for people who cut me off and they're rude in the grocery store.
Hmm.
Stuff like that where it's like obviously it wasn't my fault, but you're still being rude to me.
Hmm.
Um, but cold shoulder is used more than that. Like in relationships, people give the cold shoulders. You get in these situations where people don't hear from someone for 3 or 4 weeks, or they're being beat by their spouse. And I think that the cold shoulder is used even more so, being that it's based back so far that in the political beliefs that it was okay because, like, oh, well, they're married to him.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what the situation is. Like, if you and I were having a bad day or you were having a terrible day, and I knew it based on how you like your body uh, perceptions are, what you're doing. You're bumping into stuff and mumbling under your breath.
Hmm.
Like, if I can acknowledge that and come talk to you, that might help you, man. It might help you in the long run. And that's what we need in society. We need people who acknowledge the fact that people are struggling and going through these things,
Hmm.
and you don't have to understand what they're going through, but just to have that support that they need is something that's so vague anymore.
Yeah, I agree. You got anything else, or you good?
Not for that one, yeah.
Okay. So to give the cold shoulder to me, I'm gonna go from the angle of someone just pissing you off, like to the point that no longer words are relevant in communication. It's like, you try to work things out, or something was said or done, and it was so heinous that you don't even want to talk to that person anymore. So if you see him, you're like, just give him the cold shoulder and keep on going, because if there's any communication beyond that, it's going to be physical, right? Uh, so I think in this case, to give someone the cold shoulder is behind something that was either done or said
It's
in a
immature.
it's in a disrespectful way.
It's
Some,
immature. I think that people get screwed over a lot today,
mm,
but a lot of people put themselves in a position for that to happen.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, people might say, "Hey, I'll help you out today. Just give me back tomorrow." And then it doesn't happen. And then 2 days later, it doesn't happen. Instead of acknowledging the fact that they haven't paid you, why don't you acknowledge maybe this person needs to understand how it works? And I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that there are opportunities to where that person is not necessarily the bad person. They just didn't know. Um,
mm.
But with that being said, I think the cold shoulder gets used constantly. I think it's not hard to turn away from somebody who needs help when you don't understand it.
Hmm.
But most children don't ask for it either. They don't ask for the help. They just kind of blow off their homework or barely do it, and that's a problem. You know, it's a place where a lot of them should be.
Hmm.
But yeah,
You mentioned the term immature. I think the direction that I was going was actually being the mature person by giving the cold shoulder, because you realize that it's at that point to where if any communication tries to go beyond what's already been said, if there's no apology or no means or effort to resolve a situation, then it's best to just give the cold shoulder and keep on going and move on. You know what I'm saying?
that's fair.
Hmm.
Okay, that's good. That's good, man.
Thanks.
All right, what else you got?
Cats got your tongue. Uh,
I'm gonna let you start this one because I don't know a whole lot about it. I mean, I know the term, but
well, I mean, it's an unusual term. I didn't have time to Google this to find out what the origin of it was, but to me, it's just like you're in a situation or something's going on, and you really can't think of what to say, or when you try to say something, nothing comes out because of whatever it is that you're trying to communicate.
yeah,
Either you don't have words for it, or it's got you so amazed that you just don't have anything to say at the time. Uh,
right.
what do you think?
No, I think you're right. It's about not having the right response at the time of. Um, there's really a whole lot more I can think of to go with that. To be honest with you.
Well, actually, I'm gonna go here, and maybe this will spark something with you.
Okay.
So let's just say there's a person who's very open about their communication. They talk. Well, if this happened to me, I would do this. If this happened to me, I would do that. I wouldn't take this crap. I would not stand for that. I'm just blah 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 blah. So let's just say a week or two down the road, that very thing does happen to that person, and it's such a shock to their system that all they can do is open their mouth up and be like this. You know,
Right.
they're in disbelief, they're in awe, they're in shock, and they just got nothing to say, even though when it was premeditated and that scenario wasn't theirs, they were like, oh, well, this is how I would respond. This is what I do. I wouldn't let that happen to me. And then, fast forward in the time, that very same thing happens, and when it does, they got nothing to say, because now they fully realize the impact of how that other person, what they were dealing with, and now it's in their face, and they really got nothing to say. The cat's got their tongue.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
Any elaboration?
Not really. Not on that one. Unfortunately,
Okay.
not for that one.
Okay. What you got?
Um, let's see. What's my last one here? Crocodile tears.
Hmm.
Now, crocodile tears for me is pretty much the same as crying wolf. Um, it's about just being fake to kind of get things in your favor. You know, like I'm so sorry I was 4 minutes late at work today. You know, just that's the these crocodile tears represent kind of just fake tears, like
Hmm.
crocodiles. So the history behind it is that crocodiles, when they eat their food, they cry, but it isn't because they're upset. It's because they're actually happy and they're content. So
Tears of
it's called,
joy.
yeah, yes, it's tears of joy. When humans do it and they reference that term, it's not because they're crocodiles is because they're over exaggerating their positions or their situations. And I think it happens a ton today. And that's something that needs to be addressed.
Mm.
And, some of them end up well off and with people, but I don't think it's right.
Mm.
So, what you got?
I'm jotting this down here so I don't forget. Uh, so I think that's it, the only way I can define that is too much or way too much emotion involved. Uh, so it reminded me of this situation years ago. I was waiting to appear in court on some stuff. Not nothing drastic, not nothing major, but it was, I guess, a lot of different type of cases that day. And we were just listening because we were there, nothing else to
Right,
do, right?
right,
So there was this dude and this girl. Um, I guess they were having some issues with their situation or whatnot. And the guy was talking, and he was all, serious and straight to the point about what was happening because the judge was like, I want to hear what happened. You go first, right? And then he tells the story. Everybody's like, okay, all right. And then it's the lady's turn, and she starts talking, and literally 30 seconds into her speech, she busts out crying, and everybody like, did we miss something? What just happened here? You know. So it was crocodile tears, right? So she's trying to the get on the side of the judge to where they will feel uh, some type of something,
sympathy.
yeah, sympathy for this person, but actually it worked in the other favor of the worked in the favor of the guy because there was no reason for tears at that time because what the lady was saying, it was just stuff, it was just information, there was no reason to burst into tears. It was just weird. But definitely crocodile tears on that one, and it did not work in their favor, I would say that. Wait, I can't hear you. What happened? I can't hear you, dude.
Crocodile tears are such a strong point
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of people manipulate humans, no
Mm,
matter who they are. But if they think that they can get away with it, they will use it.
boy.
I'm not talking about physical tears, but being able to utilize people by coming up with whether it's a medical condition that is self-diagnosed or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. A lot of people do it, and so I think it kind of takes a whole nother level to the idea of crocodile tears, especially if there's an emergency and people know that you're the cause of a lot of them.
Wow. That's interesting. So, what I'm gonna do now, because I have one more after this, but this is starting to tie together. Can you see that?
I am shocked. Right.
Yeah, because none of these really have anything to do with each other. But I mean, actually, they're starting to tie in because when you talk about reading between the lines and the cat's got your tongue and the bull and the china chop, turning the cold shoulder and crocodile tears, they actually relate. This is crazy, dude. We do this all the time, but this is coming together,
Yeah.
and no better way to come together than my last one, which is having your ducks in a row.
Oh yeah, you couldn't have planned that better.
Oh man, that's absolutely insane.
Now, what do
But
you mean by ducks in a row?
what I mean by ducks in a row, I mean, I'm gonna start here because when you see ducks and how they move and how they travel together, even when they fly, they fly in a pattern,
Yeah.
which is usually a row, uh, and they're just organized like that. That's just how they move. Uh, but in life, when you have your ducks in a row, let me throw up the quotes. It's like uh, you have a plan of plans. In other words, you have step one, step two, step three. If step one is successful, then you can make it to step two. When the step two is working, then you can go to step three.
Right.
And if you have 10 steps in your plan, by the time you get to step 10, your plan should be achieved, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that's kind of having your ducks in a row, having an organized, well thought out plan or idea to make something happen, or steps and ways to get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Having your, I think ducks in a row represents like if you have an idea of where you want to be, lining up the process to get there. That's what ducks in a row is.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's exactly what it is. And I think a lot of people don't think about that. So like, people who are fed up with their job and they're like, I'm gonna go find something else. Okay, well,
Hmm.
get your ducks in a row first.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have the job before you quit this job.
Hmm.
Make sure that you don't leave this job with the intention of never coming back, because if you need a fallback,
Hmm.
you're losing it by just kind of screwing them off.
Right, right.
So, ducks in a row today is a huge one because I think that a lot of people don't take that into effect,
Hmm.
especially a lot of the younger kids. They're just like,
Hmm.
oh, I'll just find another job. No, having a backup plan and then following through with to get to that plan to make sure that you're financially stable is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if we, or people in general, would go by that, having their ducks in a row, their life would be so much easier, and they'd have a lot less stress and situations that arise that they really kind of trigger themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. This episode kind of flew through, man.
Well, I mean, we can still elaborate on some of these things if you want.
I mean,
We
I don't
could.
know. We can. I mean, we're hitting 40 minutes. It's up to
Mhm.
you.
Well, let me do this. So let's just take your first one and my last one. Bull in a china cabinet and having your ducks in a row.
Have
Um,
you seen Ferdinand,
I think I
the
tried to
movie?
watch. I tried to watch it once,
So
and
it's a Disney movie, and you got this bull, and he's huge.
right, right.
He's bigger than the rest of the bulls,
Hmm.
but he's a sweetheart. And he ends up in this china cabinet, and he is tiptoeing around.
Uh huh.
But he still ends up just destroying the shop.
Uh huh.
I think that this plays a lot into the whole idea of people tiptoeing to get to what they want. It doesn't benefit you. There's still the same opportunity of an outcome being negative with that scenario. It's like don't be so slow about it. Dive head first. If let's say I run a network called JG's Lounge,
Hmm.
is it officially a network? In my mind, it is.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter. But if you're not running with that mentality, then you're going to be that bull in the china shop. Like, oh well, I want to be this, but excuse me, excuse me. Let me. They said no. I need to get. Is there somebody that that can help me? I'm sorry. Pardon me. Like just that whole kind of trying to kind of reflect to be this certain person that you don't need to be
Hmm.
to get something. You don't want to be that bull in the china shop. You want to be that bull that just took out that matador and is like, "Here's why I did it."
Mm.
You know, it wasn't because he was waving a red flag. It's because I knew I could take him out.
Mm.
And that's how I feel about these networks and the things that we're doing. I'm like, I see all these other things, all these other like ponds and rivers and flood of other podcasts that don't touch what we do. We
Hmm.
have individual shows with individual niches to kind of cater towards our fan base,
Mm-hmm.
when a lot of these people go live for 5-6 hours and get the same views that we do in 3 for a 1 hour show.
It's because we are effective in what we do. You know, I mean, we plan our shows, and like you said, we have our all the shows have their uniqueness, and when we deliver them, we deliver, man. We're not worried about breaking little china. You know, we're busting through the whole house, right? We're going straight to the point, and you know, some people might not like what we say because the truth hurts, and you know, other people will get and be like, "Oh crap," you know, I never thought about it
Right.
that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, we're bulls. I think we're all bulls,
We
you
are
know,
bulls.
but we're running in the pack in the same direction, and there's really no stopping us. If you want to try to get in front of us, you're gonna get trampled over
Right.
because we got all our bull ducks in a row.
Definitely. Definitely.
Oh shoot!
Well,
Uh,
Scott.
Thank you. Let's look at let's see. To give the cold shoulder and cat got your tongue. Let's try to what do you have on comparing those two together?
Sorry, hold
You're gonna watch this later. You're like, holy cow, I did
on. Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. You know what? I'm at a point of the night where I actually am tired, but I'm like slap happy tired, so I'm like snacking while we're doing this. But all right, so what was the first one?
Give the cold shoulder
I
and
think giving a cold shoulder is a very dominant thing to do, in the sense that if it doesn't benefit you, you turn away from it. You know,
mm, mm,
at least in my mindset. So, like, if I meet somebody on the streets and they're like, "Hey, oh, I heard you do podcasts. Would you be interested in me being a part of it?" Well, what do you do? I mean, I sit on the corner and play music. No, no, no. That's not what I'm looking for.
mhm,
You need to be. My goal in what we do is to give a voice to those who want to get their voice out there, but
mhm,
they have to do the work too.
mhm,
My job is to create the platform and the opportunity. It's their job to pursue it to make sure it succeeds. That's what we do here. We meet the people, we give them the space, but it's on them to pursue it. If they're not doing that, then why are we even talking to you?
mm. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm,
you and I come on here, and our goal is to be known for who we are. You are Evolution. I'm Jukebox Ginger. That's who we are. People
mhm.
who watch what we do, that's what they call us,
Right.
because we are very stern and strict about it.
Mhm,
But you have to walk the walk and talk the talk. You in order to see any sort of like kickback. You don't even need a kickback, but that's the way that mentality needs to be. It doesn't need to be, well, the city said that I need to fill out this form, and then I have to submit it to make sure this is okay. And no, just freaking run it. Run what
mhm,
you're doing, and the
mhm,
rest is gonna come. I promise you. If your content is good enough, it's gonna be seen, and it's gonna get paid for.
mm.
That's how it works. That's how all of this works.
Yeah, it's definitely different than having a job, you know,
Uh,
because we're building something. You know
mhm.
what I mean? And if people don't want to be a part of it, they get the cold shoulder. And if people have things to say about what we do behind our backs, usually when we're there in the present form, the cat's got their tongue.
Right.
So you know, just highlighting that and bringing in the fact that You're really cracking me up right now. Oh man,
Good.
let's go ahead and compare the last two, crocodile tears and reading between the lines. Now, if we can compare these and they come out to something, this is going to be interesting.
My thoughts of crocodile tears is like crying for a wolf. You know,
Mm, hmm
um, if it's fake cries to get something that you need, that's basically what crocodile tears are.
hmm
It's somebody fake crying to get what they need. It's unnecessary. It's
hmm
unpleasant. It's definitely not pleasing to the eye,
hmm
and a lot of people do it. A lot of people even today do it. You go through the register and you hear their sob story in 30 seconds, stuff that you didn't even ask for,
Right, right.
and it's a problem. People don't see that as oh, we should help those people. We see it as a they probably shouldn't live in our town anymore. So that, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah,
hmm I mean, when people do that, you definitely read between the lines because you see that they're fake tears. You know, there's no relevance to them, and there's no emotion or real feeling behind those tears. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So let's just say something occurs in your life that really strikes a nerve or really stings. Uh, because of the weight of what it is, and it brings the world down on your shoulders, and you can't do nothing but cry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that heavy and it's that severe, so it strikes those nerves and it brings on the tears. But these are like real, true tears that are triggered behind something that's really heavy and emotional. Um, and then jukebox, you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm not passed out yet, man. I'm listening. I'm listening, man. I'm like tuning off, but I'm listening. I'm getting there, man. I've been doing a lot the last couple of days, man. I'm listening.
Man, you gotta have a clip of this.
Do I look asleep? I mean, I promise I'm not asleep.
Man, you've been gone since we started this,
That's been a day, dude.
but you're really phasing out now.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sorry.
funny.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, you good, man. I
Yeah,
mean, you're doing what you got to do to get through it. I
yeah,
appreciate it. But
yeah.
I think it's been great actually.
Everything's still tying together, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we said with every show, that it all ties together. Um, my biggest thing about what we do is we're finding these life lessons, we find these life morals, but the reality of all of it is just be a good person and don't
hmm
expect what you don't deserve, and it will come to you. Like we hear these morals or these stories, and then we're like, oh, well, I need to be a certain way. You don't necessarily need to be a certain way to
hmm
be a good person,
hmm
and the outcome can be good, but the problem is that too many people are not good people,
mm
and then in order to kind of gauge whether they're somebody who you should be friends with, you have to go in and look at what the things that they've done. That should not be that way. It really
mm
should. The world should not be that way, but it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tough part, because like some of these are your friends, and you're like, I back them, but then you're like, I see some of the stupid shit you do, but
hmm
we need to look out for ourselves and have the intentions of helping other people, but also being held back enough to acknowledge that some people don't want the help.
Wow, that was strong, man.
Thank you for me falling asleep half the time.
I was looking at this and thinking about everything you were saying, which is great. Uh, and what we have outlined today in our episode of Inconsistently Consistent is the the real and the fake. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we have things here that are real that you can't get around because of how real it is. And then we have the fake is what people are trying to do to manipulate whatever's going on. So,
I think the difficult part about the fake is that the fake try to use false information that they found out to benefit them.
or they have whatever information they found out, and they twist it in a way to where it will benefit them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Uh, so I guess the real thing here is having your ducks in a row and reading between the lines to analyze what you're really dealing with,
Right.
and and also giving a cold shoulder when you realize that what's there in front of you is not as it should be.
Right.
Uh, and then you got the fake, of course, is a crocodile tears, and the cat getting your tongue when you're caught in the middle of something and you got
Yep.
nothing to say, and the bull in the China shop because now you got yourself stuck in a situation that no matter where you move, it's gonna be trouble.
Right. Yeah. The bull in the China shop is the biggest one for me. Like,
Hmm.
you're sticking yourself in this surrounding, and then like knowing that the outcome is most likely going to be negative, and
Hmm.
attempting to try and weave it to make it work doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And if it
But
does, it's very few and far between.
but you have a lot of people out there living that way.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go here, man, because you have policies in place, you have rules in place, and you have just the way things are set up to operate and function. And even though everybody understands that these things are in place for the better of everything, you still have people going out there trying to manipulate the system, trying to go around the rules and just or just get in a position or get themselves in trouble.
I
And
think
they're riding a thin line, they're
I
walking on
think the
thin ice.
manipulating the system is huge
Yeah, yeah.
because there's a lot of how society is today.
Man, it's crazy.
Hmm.
It's crazy. But that's what people do for some reason.
Hmm.
And they think it's gonna make their life better. But in all actuality, it just makes everything worse.
Right. All right, man. Well, you know what? We got another episode out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. There was a couple of times where you had to kind of catch me, mostly because I've been so busy. Um, so the network is expanding. There's people on other platforms that are seeing us now and want to be a part of it, which is fantastic. That's what JG's Lounge is about, giving the opportunity for people to have a place to talk and be heard. But the biggest thing for me is acknowledging whether these people have the mindset to pursue it. Because you
Hmm.
get people who are like, hey, I like what you're doing, can get me on, but then they don't have the drive or the push for it. So you have to kind of weed out those people. And lately, I've been getting so much of it, and I'm not even joking, that weeding out the ones that don't have the same interest. For example, the other day said, somebody's like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast for males only to where they can call in and get advice about things, and we're gonna make money on it. So my response to them was that all you want is the money, right? And they said, yeah. I'm not helping you
Mm.
because the intention is to put out quality content.
Yeah.
I don't even want the recognition, but I can't physically help somebody whose mindset is just the money.
Hmm.
You need to have a mindset of the content that you want to produce. And if
Right.
the money comes, it comes, but the money can't be the fuel to your concept.
Mm.
And it's becoming a lot lately, which makes me feel even more better about what we're doing because the people think that they can reach out to us like they know the answers. I don't know all the answers. But what I do know is that chasing the money is not the answer. It's not about the money. It's about putting out the quality content and it being fined and picked up by sponsors and all these other things. And if you're not putting in the effort to get there, you're not getting anywhere.
No, heck no. Heck no. So I want to end my thought process of today's episode with these two statements. It's hard to do what's right, and it's easy to do what's wrong. Um, that's just it. It's that simple.
Yep.
But the more you do right, the easier it is to do right.
100%. Especially if you know that what you're doing is right, it feels good, it's not difficult.
Mm-hmm. And the results are better.
Yep.
Way better.
Right. All right. With that being said, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in tonight for another episode of Consistently Inconsistent. I'm sorry I've been kind of in and out. It's just it has been a long week.
Hey, man.
I've had a lot of exposure, and we weren't doing shows for a while, so now it's like crank them out. And I'm like, I'm tired, but I'll make it work. So you guys catching me on these things is fine. As a matter of fact, all I ask is if I fall asleep on a show, you guys record it because I want clips from it, okay?
They're going to get a clip from this one.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate you and your
Yeah, of
effort,
course.
man, because you go hard.
I do,
And
man. I do.
nothing's stopping you, me, or us.
It doesn't.
And
I mean, I'm literally running. So I found this network on TikTok, and because of how much I think that it's going to benefit this, I've been doing it until 2 or 3 in the morning. So I'm getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep and then doing it all over again. And it's not good for me. Don't get me wrong, it's not good for me. But the platform itself has such a chill vibration to it, just a very open atmosphere. I have gotten 9 people in the last week to go, hey, I went and found you on YouTube, or hey, I went to found you on Facebook. I'm loving the stuff you're putting out there. That's what it's worth. That right there is what it's worth. I didn't pay for that other than time, but I didn't pay for that organic person to come and say, I'm liking what you're doing.
mm,
And that's what I want to continue to do with JG's Lounge. I don't care if we have 25 podcasts. I don't care if we have 16 podcasts. What I care about is the fact that the fans that tune in can come back and find us and say, hey, here's how I feel about this episode.
boom. And you know what? That's funny you say that because I got that today.
No joke?
Hey, no joke, man. I got that today. I had someone approach me about several episodes that they've been watching because they weren't able to catch up on the new ones. They watched a couple of old ones and they were talking to me about, you know, their thoughts behind what was said on those episodes. So that's a great feeling, man.
Yeah, it is. All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'll probably be awake for another like 3 minutes.
You sure? I don't think it can last that long.
What? No, actually, I got to let the dogs out and stuff, so I'll probably wake up a little bit here.
Okay.
But, yeah, no, I mean, again, dude, it's been a good show, and
Absolutely.
the content's still good, so you guys can find humor in what I do all the time. I don't care. But until next time, everybody, we will see you around. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for the climb in our numbers.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is because of you guys, not us. I can sit there and promote the shows, but if you guys don't like it, then we're not getting the views. You guys have been making this happen, and it's going to continue growing. I like the way it's going. I like the fact that we're staying independent and that we're not booking with somebody who has their own mindset. We're doing this thing and we're doing it the way it needs to be done. And that's because of
Absolutely.
you. That's because of you guys. So thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Y'all
All
take
right.
care. Have a
You
good night.
too. Yep.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody. Did I actually doze off?
Yes. You were struggling the whole time, man. Did you stop it yet?
Yes, it's done. It's done, man.
Okay.
I try to push through, man. I heard all of it. I just was like, fuck, man. I've been doing so much lately. It's a lot. It's
You sure?
um
You sure you stopped it? Because it's still going.
no, it says it's ended.
I'm seeing live,
Yeah,
right
the
here,
bride.
and it's still
What?
counting.
It says it's ended. No, it's ended.
Are you sure?
I don't. Hold on here. Well, it's not giving me the option to end it. Let's see here. Stop. Bear with me here. Stop. I ended the broadcast.
Oh, this is great.
Hey, dude. So, come on now.
Are you hitting the right
You-
button?
I hit the right button, man. Hold on. It'll say it's done. I don't know why it's not saying it's done. Scheduled. I see the number still going, but I'm like, I know it's done.
Okay. All right.
Hold on. Why is it still saying it's going?
I don't know. It's, you're offline now. Oh, this is great, ladies and gentlemen. JG is wired because he's been up too long and doing too much. And I'm loving this. I'm going to record this and make a heck of a lot of clips and just rub it in his face. I'm going to disconnect. Y'all take care.